All righty. Well, welcome everybody. And I'm Lynne Conwell. And once again, I'd like to offer, with the help of Courtney, another technique that we could use in these disturbing times, let's say, or times of opportunity, if we only knew how to take advantage of them with our own mindset and attitude. So this one is called the spin technique. And what it is used for is when you're feeling anxious, how to use your body in such a way is that you actually resolve the the anxiety, excuse me. Anger might go with it too. So we'll start first with asking Courtney, who has something that makes her anxious, if she can remember the specifics of it, like the specific context.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask a few questions, and as I ask Courtney, I'm also asking you. So just do it in your home while you're watching us. And they may seem like strange questions, but they're relevant. And the first question is, I'd like you to remember that context in which you feel anxious, and then tell me in your body, where does the anxiety start and where does it go as far as a sensation?
Okay. For me, it starts up here and it goes down my arms into my fingers like this.
Okay, so it starts behind your neck and your lower head, and then it moves out down to your arms and your fingers, and they kind of move like this, even though they're not moving like that. That's how they feel. Anywhere else in your body? Is there anything below your neck? Because we very rarely analyze where in our body the anxiety is and how it moves. So that's what we're doing now.
I feel like it's also here. I mean, and possibly right in the middle of my sacrum.
Okay, all right, that's good information. Now, Courtney, the sacrum and your cheeks, are they all at once, or is there a sequence? Like first the back of your neck, then your shoulders and arms and hands.
It's sort of a sequence that comes out from here and then goes to all the places at once, as if it's coming here and coming forward into my hands and into my cheeks, and then sort of like into my sacrum. All after it stems from here, then it goes to all those points.
So it just rides right through to all those points. Okay, now, what color would you give it, this sensation?
Like a black mold color, or almost like super dense dried blood.
Well, that's a pretty good description. Thank you for that. Now, when that movement starts, is it contained in your body, or does it move out into space?
It's contained. It also, there's a second feeling to it that it's just like a sense of weight in my chest, like a giving up feeling.
Okay, so you sink in like that?
Yeah.
Okay, and that happens secondary?
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Now, the last question, again, unusual question, but all that movement, how does it turn? How does it spin? That's a very essential part. And it probably isn't something that you're aware of at all, but it's there. And so just kind of go inside and let whatever rises up for a spin. It could be like this, it could be like this, it could be like this, it could be a spiral. just let it come forth instead of try to figure it out, because it is there. It's just a little bit behind the screen, and we're wanting to have it unveil itself to us. Okie doke?
Okay.
These are the same questions that are really important for you to be able to find out and perhaps write them down. Okay. All right, excellent. The spin is really important. So your spin is counterclockwise or clockwise?
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise, okay. All right, so now what I'm going to have you do, Courtney, is not now, but I want you to go to that context where the anxiety rides high. And, but this time I want you to do a few different things. I want you to reverse two things, and one is the spin. I'd like it to go the opposite way, and also I'd like the sensation to first come into your heart, but expand instead of contract. And then the movement start from your back and then up your arms and into your neck. And with a color you like. What's a nice color you like?
I like that color.
You like, okay, so you can use pink, and perhaps we can even give it another sound like, oh, or yeah, instead of, oh. Now, that's quite a lot to remember. So there are three things happening when we change. One, very important, is the spin. Hers was counterclockwise. Now she's going to reverse it to clockwise and have that throughout. Second is she's going to reverse the order. So it's going to start at her heart, but instead of the sinking, I've asked her to expand with a new sound called
oh.
Oh. And then immediately following that, she's going to start with her spine and have it clockwise go in her spine, then reverse up her arms into her shoulders, the back of her neck. And you can do it on your own time, and people at home, you can do it as well. First, you go back to what the situation is that makes you that anxious, awful feeling. And then start immediately reversing the spin. And for Courtney, she's going to go to the heart expanding with oh, and then immediately following that, moving up from her spine through her fingers, arms, shoulders, back of her neck with the color pink. And the spin continues throughout the whole thing. And breathe.
Okay.
All righty. Now, could you do that one more time?
Okay.
And for you at home as well, go through the reversing the spin, reversing the sequence of sensations.
Okay.
Oh. All righty. So now we're going to test it and see what effect we've had. So Courtney, I want you to go back to that situation where you're anxious and see if it's different or not.
Okay. Yes, I don't have the same feeling about it.
So what feeling do you have?
I have just more of the oh feeling, and I don't know where that anxiety was. I mean, it was for me looking at information on a piece of paper, but now I'm just in this, going back to it, I'm just looking at a piece of paper.
Okay.
Like,
So it brought you kind of to a neutral feeling.
Yeah.
All righty. And what's your attitude about reading the paper?
Well, like I have no real relationship to it.
So it's not interesting or it's not boring. It's just a piece of paper with information.
Yeah, it's not freaking me out.
I see. So that neutrality is essential.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, think of another place where you have anxiety, another context,
Okay.
and go there and see how that is now. So
Okay.
now we're testing it to see if we can move it cross context instead of just one. And bring the O with you.
Okay. So go through the opposite sequence again.
Yes, but first see how it is.
Okay. I still have some anxiety in it.
Okay, then go through the sequence.
Okay.
Because while Courtney's doing that, this is something that I want you to be able to learn so that whenever you have even a new situation in which you might feel anxious, you know a tool that you can use.
Yeah, that felt very different.
Okay, so one of the things we're doing now is we're installing a second time that process so that it becomes more of a immediate response. So let's try yet a third context where you have a little bit of anxiety or love.
Okay.
And when you go there, tell me what happens.
Okay.
And at home, I'd like you also to do this, is what we call a future pace. A future pace. So it usually takes at least 3 times before we start to generalize a new behavior and then practice it. So when you went there, did you do the sequence or did you just feel different right away?
I did the sequence, and doing the sequence makes me feel actually quite empowered in the situation and capable rather than dragged down by it.
Okay,
You really feel.
well, that's rather fabulous. Okay, so now without doing the sequence first, go to yet a fourth anxiety. Wow, we're just cleaning up her anxiety all over the place. And that last one was great, what it left you with.
I feel a little bit more impassive or neutral, just looking at another situation without doing the reverse sequence.
Okay, and is that satisfying in that context?
Yeah, actually, in that context, that's pretty great.
So sometimes in a context, it feels great to be empowered. In other contexts, it feels great to be neutral. So it depends on the situation and what is the most resourceful state for you. All right, well, that basically is the spin exercise. Now, before I close, let's just review what we did. First of all, you have to find a place where you're anxious if you're not there already, and find out where in your body it's located and how it moves. That's very important. And you may never have thought of it, but it's essential. Once you have that, then what we're going to do is we're going to find out where the spin is, and you're going to reverse that. We'll find out how it moves, and we're going to reverse that. And if, like I asked her for a color, and we found out that was a kind of brown, blackish, dried blood. So we absolutely wanted to change that to another color, which was pink. And we also reversed the sequence because she had a part 1 of her body sensations and a part 2. And so I had her reverse that. So 2 was first and 1 was second. And it moved in reverse from down to up, where the original was from up to down. So that's the sequence. Now, I do want to underline and emphasize that doing this technique a few times will take a little bit of you exploring more of your own experience. However, if you can't remember anything else, please, when anxiety strikes, reverse the spin, reverse the wheel. If nothing else, do that, and you'll be successful. All righty, thank you very much for looking in. And Courtney, as usual, it's a delight working with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
And,
so much.
and thank everybody who's watching. To a happy, easy, peaceful, joyful life to all. Bye-bye.